brand image is only a facade. The brand behind it, you, must have the ability to support it and back its claims. Now let's go back to the example of our two different businesses, the traditional follow-the-pack business and the leading-edge business. At this point, the traditional business entrepreneur has already ignored or skipped the first two stages of brand development. Rather than put in the effort to discover their authentic brand and create a culture around that brand, they took a shortcut and developed a business model and a brand culture based on what others have done before them. Rather than do everything they could to be unique and authentic and create a culture that would attract all the best people to it, they took the easy way out and simply rehashed everything that everyone else does. They made a business model that was more socially acceptable and probably garnered some immediate praise from their friends and colleagues. Hey, you're starting a business. That's great. Lots of people have businesses that do what you'll be doing, so there must be a good market for it. Plus, we understand it, and it doesn't tax our mental faculties to understand what your business will be about. So, we approve. Well done and good luck. Good luck is right, because once the doors were open and the fanfare was over, they were left to their own devices to survive. It's at this point that the traditional business entrepreneur hits the next wall. People just don't care about your business. Seriously, people do not give a crap. They don't care about you. They don't care about your business or your family or your employees. They don't care if you're the best or the cheapest. They don't care about your dreams and aspirations. They don't care about your hard work. And you will get no thanks or praise from anyone for creating a more socially acceptable business. People don't care. People don't really care until they have a pain that needs to be fixed. And then they care about fixing their problem and relieving their pain. They still don't care about your business, but they do care whether or not you can help them with their problem. It's at this point that the audience begins allowing the messages in. They begin paying attention to what your business is all about, what it can do for them. But see, the traditional entrepreneur has a big problem. He made a business that didn't truly reflect his authentic self. He made a carbon copy of what went before him. It might resemble his core genius, but it's not spot on. It was a safe choice, and it's not completely authentic. Now, on the other hand, the leading edge entrepreneur has created a brand and culture that is 100% authentic to himself. He didn't concern himself with anything other than creating a brand that reflected his core genius, his dreams, his passions, and his vision for his life. And it's right now that I want you to truly understand why the authentic brand is so important. You see, the only people who actually interact with the actual brand, the actual business, are people who work there and customers. But people don't just become customers. They first have to be prospects. They have to go through all the steps to go from passive audience member to interested prospect to qualified prospect to paying customer. And in all those steps, regardless of how long it takes, they continually interact with the business's brand image. Everything that people see and hear from you about your brand is your brand image. Your brand image is a facade. It's the mask that simply represents the brand itself. Nobody can understand the brand itself in its entirety until they're actually committed to it in some way, as a client or customer, as an employee or a partner. The brand image is the facade that allows people to see what working with your business will be like. It's made up of many parts. Everything people see and hear when they interact with your brand, all of which you have complete control over if you choose. The most obvious is the corporate identity, the logo, stationery, business cards, signage, website, and other marketing tools. Now, we'll cover this part of the brand image in depth a little later, so I'm going to skip it for now. But the rest of the brand image is just as important, but often left to default. It's so important to deliberately design every single touch point of your brand, everything people see and hear. Now let's start with you. In many businesses, it's fairly common that for many people, the first touch point will be meeting you, the entrepreneur, in person. If not you, they may meet someone who represents your brand, like a partner or an employee. You will be judged on your appearance, your dress, your cleanliness, your mannerisms, your personality, your posture, your confidence. All these factors may weigh more heavily than your abilities and past accomplishments in their decision to work with you. And you have complete control over how you present yourself from the onset. This is why having a truly authentic brand from the start is so important. Your presentation of yourself will be how you represent yourself. It won't be anything fake or put on. If your brand is authentic at its core, then how you normally present yourself will be all you need to do to attract the right people to your business. But if your brand is a copy of someone else's business model and not truly authentic to you, then the brand image facade you create for yourself must also be fake. How long do you think you can last pretending to be something you're really not? How good of an actor are you that you think you can trick people into believing that what they see is the genuine article? Are you beginning to see why so many small businesses fail so quickly? It's not because the economy's bad. It's not because there's no market for their services. It's because they can't keep up the facade. They can't go on very long pretending to be something they're not. The authentic, leading-edge entrepreneur does not have this problem. Your brand image doesn't act like a facade in the sense that it's fake. It's just you being you. You're able to tell very quickly who the people are that you want to be part of your business, who your real customers and clients are, who your best employees and partners are, and they can tell too, because you're showing them your authentic self from minute one. But sometimes people don't meet you personally first. Sometimes they call on the phone and get voicemail. They visit your office or store. They talk to or meet one of your employees. They see a piece of your corporate identity, like a brochure or a website. They get an email. They see a Facebook ad. They see your vehicles driving through the neighborhood. There are countless ways they may come in contact with your brand, all of which you have the power to design and control. It's absolutely imperative you go through all the possible ways people may come in contact with your brand and determine if they are working to boost your brand image or not. Review everything that people see and hear and ask yourself if they all fit the brand image. If they do, great. If any of them don't, then make the necessary changes so that they do. I found myself in a tough spot after a while because the business I had for so many years was no longer authentic to me. And I want you to understand that these exercises and lessons may need to be revisited over time. We change. People change. Things we want today, we no longer want tomorrow. And over time, something that seemed like an authentic business might no longer be authentic. And this is exactly where I found myself. I had a design business that used to be authentic to me. I really wanted to build a design firm with designers working for me, possibly teams of art directors and designers. But over time, I began to realize that wasn't really where my authentic self was heading. More and more, that business model seemed to be the one I chose merely because it was a clear path already laid out for me. The idea of the design studio is a well-established business model. I've run one myself and I've also worked at others. I knew it very well and it was comfortable for me to follow that path. Plus, because it was such a well-established business model, it made sense to the people around me and I got their nods of approval, which of course helped to boost my confidence and assure me that I was on the right path. But I never let myself build that business. Something inside me knew it just wasn't the right path for me. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there were many aspects to my authentic self that this particular business model left out of the equation. I've since had to completely rethink my business model and come up with something much less established and familiar, but completely authentic to who I am. The initial confidence boost you get from the familiar doesn't last very long. I can tell you firsthand that running a business that's not authentic is very hard. It takes a lot out of you, and it requires so much more effort and struggle than you were probably prepared for. The inauthentic business is easy to start but difficult to maintain. You get all the support and confidence in the beginning, and it quickly wanes as struggle and worry set in. Now, on the other hand, the authentic business is hard to start and it's easier to maintain. You usually don't get the same initial confidence boost because it's not quite as clear where you're headed. But it's the only one that lasts. You just have to get past that initial hurdle of uncertainty. Because let's face it, whether you're in business or you have a job or whatever, the only way to live with any amount of happiness and satisfaction is to be authentic to yourself.